views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Chari Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll speak with Bronx native Nadia Hallgren about her journey as a filmmaker from the Bronx to directing Michelle Obama's Netflix documentary, Becoming. After that, we'll discuss some skincare tips to help treat and prevent Maskne during this pandemic mask wearing requirement. And then we'll hear about the Bronx Children's Museum's Dream Big Summer Program series for children throughout the Bronx. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on musical artist, author, and activist Amyra León, who will perform one powerful improvised piece at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, as now we are officially open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosting Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So the Netflix documentary, Becoming, is an intimate look into the life of former First Lady Michelle Obama as she embarks on her 34-city book tour. The film, most recently nominated for 4 Emmys, was directed by Bronx native and award-winning filmmaker Nadia Hallgren, and she's here with us today to discuss her journey, the documentary, and her career as a filmmaker. Welcome, Nadia Hallgren.
Great to see you. Thanks so much for having me today.
Oh my goodness, I am super excited to have this conversation, as you can hear in my enthusiastic voice.
I love.
Well, you know, first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a huge accomplishment. Let's just share with everyone your humble Bronx origins and our association.
Yeah, so I am born and raised in the Bronx. I grew up in Soundview, and I got my start into the world of documentary through ICP at the Point, CDC, which is a wonderful community arts organization, and where you and I met a long time ago. I won't tell people how long.
As you know, we already had that conversation.
Yes.
Now I was just the river.
So I started learning how to do documentary photography at the Point many years ago, and that really kind of sparked my interest in documentary filmmaking, which I went on to study and, came up through the ranks, started out as a production assistant, went on to be a cinematographer, which I did for many, many years. And then, in the last few years, transitioned into directing and have been fortunate enough to most recently release Becoming with Mrs. Obama.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Meanwhile, you already shot the documentary. It's already been on Netflix for over a year now, and now it's being nominated for an Emmy. But I just can't imagine what that must have been like for you to have been chosen for that. So please do share the details of how you were chosen to be this person who's following the former First Lady around the nation.
Sure. So, I guess it's been about a year and a half ago now, right around this time that, or 2 years around this time, I was sitting at my kitchen table like I am now, and I get a phone call from a woman named Priya Swaminathan, who runs Higher Ground Productions, which is the Obama's production company. And she had gotten my name through a friend that I had worked on with the project. And she tells me, Mrs. Obama's getting ready to go on this worldwide book tour, and we're floating the idea of documenting it. We don't know yet if it will be a film or something that just lives in Mrs. Obama's archive, but you know, we're looking for someone to take on this position. And one of the sort of prerequisites to doing so was that the filmmaker had to be able to kind of have a very small footprint, work alone even, if necessary, because of the way Mrs. Obama moves with Secret Service and, you know, the whole apparatus. And my background in cinematography and actually in very low budget documentary filmmaking really helped me out with that, because I had learned through the years how to wear many hats, do sound if I needed to, be the cinematographer, directing, sort of producing, all that stuff. And so, yeah, I, you know, after the call, I was like, that was such a nice phone call. I'm not gonna ever get that job, but I appreciate someone thinking about me. And, you know, a few calls later, and next thing I know, I had an appointment at the office of Michelle Barack Obama to meet Mrs. Obama herself.
Oh my gosh. I'm feeling it for you, and it already passed, right? And it's lovely you shared all of these skills that you developed along the years that all led up to this, which is inspiring for our next generation of Bronxite cinematographers and DPs and photographers. And so you're truly an inspiration. And the fact that you maintain this humility and we can have this talk, even though we know each other from back in the day, I haven't seen you in, I don't know, right, we weren't going to talk about how many years. But it's so lovely just to see how far you've come, and just also I'm curious to know like what that was like for you to be like up close, impersonal, right? I mean, you just mentioned you kind of had to move around like a fly on the wall so that you weren't, I guess, like an official camera capturing everything that was occurring, but you were in so many places, you met so many people in the process. I mean, there's Oprah, Gail, Stephen Colbert, I mean, and of course her family, right? Her mom. Wow, what was that like for you to just be that up close and personal?
You know, Rhina, it almost still feels like a dream that all those things happen that you just mentioned. You know, I think for me, meeting Mrs. Obama for the first time was just, you know, I had to kind of like wake myself up. I was like, this is really happening. You're not having a dream, you know, this is going down. But she's just, you know, from minute one, she's just such a wonderful, loving, warm person that is very excited to meet new people and really just looking to connect, just like all of us. So in that way, she made it really easy once I got over my own nervousness of being, you know, in the presence of such amazingness. And when we started, you know, I pretty much started right away, hit the ground running. And then I knew I had to quickly just dive into filmmaker mode and be like, you are making a movie. Every moment is valuable. Figuring out how to capture these incredible things that were happening in front of me, as well as make the film feel as intimate as possible. You know, when I'm sitting next to Mrs. Obama in her motorcade car and we're talking about music and we're having a good time, all I'm thinking is, I want everyone to have this experience. How do I make a film where an audience can feel like they're sitting next to her and they're also just enjoying a conversation and you know.
I do have to say, I was able to be with you in viewing it because there were certain little things that I took into account that were, I don't know what your intention was, but I know there was an artistic component to one of the images that stood out for me, which may have gone over people's heads, was when they went to visit the home, their older home, you know, where the mom raised them and where she ended up living with Obama, Barack that is, and as they were leaving, you left the gate door open. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
and there was something that made me feel so emotional because it was almost as if though you, as the DP, were saying, it's open for you all. And it remains open.
Noticing that. You are definitely the first person that ever noticed that in there. And I love the symbolism that meant to you. And also that feeling that, you know, Mrs. Obama and her family really in vogue of this, just like this welcoming feeling. And, you know, that's how I felt when I was around them all the time. You know, I remember her brother said, "You're family now, you know, like you're part of this." And that just meant so much to me. And they surely, you know, in their gestures and how much warmth and community they generate around them, you feel that exact thing that you mentioned, that you're feeling like that this come in, you know, this door is open for you.
Yeah, and it was definitely captured because it's amazing, right? To be up close and personal with the former first family, but yet kind of sit there and be down with them because they seem so down to earth. And you got it. I felt it. I was like, yeah, wow. And in my opinion, that's the first time I've ever felt like I could relate to a first family that's been in office.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I appreciate you say that. I think I was also struck by how down to earth and just cool, and, you know, being around Mrs. Obama's family was the way it felt when I'm around my family or my friends. You know, how we would all gather in the Bronx and just have great times and, you know, share food and stories. And I felt so connected to that experience. And I felt at home immediately. It was just something so familiar in that. And you know, I'm sure because of who they are, this historical Black first family of the United States, that is part of the reason why we really felt that sense of connection.
Yeah, and it's lovely that she also brought in a person of color to capture it. And with that said, before we leave, let's talk about your Emmy nominations. Woo!
I mean, you know, the Emmy nominations are so wonderful. I think I'm just really honored to have been nominated with such wonderful filmmakers. You know, American Factory is a fantastic film. It's a modern classic. The filmmakers are great friends and lovely people. The Cave is also just an incredible, courageous feat of filmmaking by the director. And, you know, to be considered up there with those folks is just, you know, I just can't be more honored than to have that experience, as well as the cinematography nomination, which is very cool because, you know, my biggest dream in life was to be a cinematographer, and that's kind of where I set my goals at. And so to have been recognized in that way as well is like pretty awesome.
Bravo, congratulations. Just with one word, what do you want to leave our audience with, our future cinematographers, our future DPs, our people of the Bronx who are aspiring to do great things such as you have? What would you leave them with?
I would just like to say that whoever you are and wherever you come from, nothing is impossible. Follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you that they cannot happen, you know, because look at where I am, and I've been able to achieve things that I could have never even imagined. And so really believe in yourself, surround yourself with great people, and, you know, just keep moving forward.
Thank you. Woo! And of course, don't take advantage of the cultural institutions that are in the neighborhood, because look, this is what The Point did for her.
Absolutely.
Bravo. Bravo,
Right.
Nadia. Bravo. Bravissimo. You guys, for more Nadia, you can follow her on Instagram, that is, at Nadia Hallgren. All right, we got to take a quick break. But when we return, we'll get some tips on how to care for your skin this summer while wearing a face mask. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Open. So wearing a face mask in public is the new norm. And of course, that's to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. And Although it seems to be upholding its purpose, it's also causing massive breakouts called Maskne. And now it's a new skincare issue many people don't know how to deal with. And we're joined by Schweiger Dermatology Group Physician Assistant Melissa Rosenhan, who will provide us with some tips to treat and or prevent Maskne. Welcome, Melissa.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see everyone.
Well, this is interesting. The term itself, Maskne, is this a newfound term?
So it actually is. Think about it like this. You have a mask and you have acne. You add them together and you get maskne. It's pretty, straightforward.
Yeah, I kind of figured it was that. It's just interesting because now it's like something else we have to concern ourselves with. So just tell us a little bit about what you feel is causing the maskne.
Right. So, a lot of the times people have different masks, and it depends on how you're treating your skin, how you are, preparing your skin before you put the mask on, what kind of mask you're wearing, and also if you're wearing makeup under the mask. So, some tips that I like to tell my patients are to always wear a cotton mask, something like this, that you can actually wash every day. And it's really important to wash it every day because, you have a lot of oil, dead skin cells, and dirt that remain on the mask, and you want to get rid of that because you don't want to clog your pores. A lot of the times those surgical masks, the blue ones, they are great. They are, wonderful to wear to help the spread of COVID, but they are very irritating to the skin. So I always say cotton is better.
Right, and also you can wash it like you said, and also it adjusts to your face too. I've become a mask fashionista in my day. The masks for me are the new shoes.
Very true, very, very true. I completely agree.
But I like what you said about wearing makeup because some of us, like myself, today I happen to be made up because I'm on air. And then if I have to step out, I'm just going to put a mask on with no concern that I have lipstick and blush and or foundation. So what do you recommend for that?
So I definitely recommend if you're going to wear makeup, of course, you're not going to wash your full face off. Sometimes you might want to, but I would definitely recommend using a non-comedogenic brand of makeup. You can look on the label as long as it says non-comedogenic. That means it won't be clogging your pores, and it's very healthy to wear the mask over the makeup if you're going to do that.
So if, let's say I do have a clean face, what kind of treatments do you recommend?
Sure. So every morning, I love treating acne in my office, and Maskne is something that I have grown to love to treat because masks are here to stay. So what I always recommend is, depending on your skin type, you want to wash your face. If you have oily skin, I recommend using a foaming cleanser. And if you have dry skin, I recommend using something that's hydrating. So I actually have some samples over here. So this is the foaming cleanser, and this is the hydrating cleanser. These are two brands that I love, the Roche-Posay and CeraVe. They're very gentle on the skin, and they're very good to remove our dead skin cells and make us feel nice and fresh. So I would definitely recommend washing your face morning and night.
Morning and night. How important is that?
It's very, very important because, every day our cells are turning over, our skin produces a lot of oil. From walking outside, obviously we're not kicking up dirt, but you do have some microflecks of dirt that, can get trapped in your pores. It's very important to wash your face every day because if you don't, especially under the mask, all of that grime is going to get trapped into your pores. So,
and what you're referencing is an additional treatment aside from just soap and water.
Exactly. Yes. You must use, a gentle cleanser. It doesn't need to be top dollar. It doesn't need to be something that's going to, exfoliate your skin and be really harsh. Something that's nice and hydrating is really.
And so what else do you have there? I see you have a few items behind you.
Yes. So every morning myself, I work in medicine. I'm wearing N95 and surgical mask and face shield. I always use micro exfoliating products. My favorite is this Good Genes. It's by Sunday Riley. It's fantastic. It is a lactic acid treatment, which is a type of AHA. And what it does is it helps to micro exfoliate your skin to help, unclog your pores, decrease oil production, and give you a nice shine. So, and another thing that I like to use is vitamin C serum. This is also Sunday Riley. And what vitamin C serum does is it helps to decrease inflammation, it will help to decrease redness, and also helps to stimulate hydration at the skin level. So this is very important when you have that mask on all day. You want your skin to be hydrated.
That's a really great tip right there. Okay, first of all, I'm hearing a lot of exfoliation in your conversation. So obviously the exfoliation factor is kind of like a daily step that you're recommending. Is that what you're saying?
So it's very important to consult your local dermatologist. My office has a bunch of colleagues, myself included, that we can definitely guide you the right way how to use exfoliants. It depends on your skin type. I myself happen to be very oily, so I'm able to use exfoliants every day, but I do take care of moisturizing my skin and using proper hydrating techniques as well. So it's important that you do what's good for your skin and consult your local dermatologist.
Right. And then with the vitamin C ointment that you were just referencing, that's something new to me. That's the one that really made me pop up. And it's like, well, we're all really in need of lots of vitamin C. I didn't realize that you can put it on your skin.
Yes, for sure. I mean, it has a ton of different properties. It does help against sun damage, helps to lighten pigment, but specific for Maskne, it really does help to hydrate the skin and also just make it look more refreshed and plump.
Beautiful. That's a wonderful tip. And so what else do you have? I think we have time for one more.
Right. So I have, I also recommend every night, my favorite ingredients are glycolic acid and salicylic acid. My company makes these pads that have glycolic acid and salicylic acid, and these two ingredients together have completely transformed my skin. Like lactic acid, they help to micro-exfoliate the skin, but the percent is very small. So you're not peeling, you're just having a nice glow, unclogging your pores, because the problem is we don't want the dead skin cells, the oil, the dirt to get trapped in our pores after wearing the mask. So this is very good to use every other night or every night, depending on what your dermatologist says.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for taking the time to share with us the importance of treating our natural mask, which is our face, right? With this new norm of having to wear a mask on a daily basis. And thank you for all these wonderful tips. And you guys, once again, she said, to operate responsibly, and that means definitely look for a consultation. And if you're interested in one for Maskne, you can visit schweigerdermatology.com, and you can also call Melissa at 212-283-3000. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a summer virtual program for kids to enjoy this summer. Don't go anywhere. To open, the Bronx Children's Museum is a cultural and educational institution dedicated to inspiring children and families through the richness and diversity of their surroundings. And this summer, the museum is showcasing the Dream Big summer program on BronxNet TV. It's a summer arts and literacy enrichment program designed to encourage children in second and third grades to think about their futures and envision their grandest desires. And joining us to share more, we welcome Arts Program Manager Chris Gomez and STEAM Program Manager Deja Santiago. Hello and welcome.
Hi,
Hey,
thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for being here with us and obviously adapting and bobbing and weaving. I mean, prior to this situation, the Bronx Children's Museum was slated to open this year, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
And
pushed back to next year.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Now we're pushed back to next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, in the meantime, you were acting as a mobile institution anyway, right? With a bus, and so now it's everything's being converted into a virtual programming, and I'm anxious to hear what you guys implemented. So I guess we could start with Chris and your role and your title and what kind of programming you're in charge of.
Well, yeah, my name is Christopher Gomez. I'm the arts program manager for the museum. So what that really means is that I'm in charge of facilitating and creating programming for kids to like create art that expresses their own like desires. And the Dream Big program is like an amazing part of that because we're creating activities and videos for these kids to express themselves and giving them like art activities they can do at home that can really make this time a little easier.
Right, I know, considering we have to operate within certain walls, right? And so, Deja, although I introduced you as the STEAM program manager, can you just break down what STEAM stands for so that our viewers understand?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the STEAM program manager. STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So basically what I do is I provide STEAM-based programming for students in our Bronx programs and the community.
And so what has this been like for you all to do this jolt of a conversion in programming? I understand that you have there's so much going on that I really want you guys to just share with us exactly how the whole thing has been structured. I know there's you've got Kid Bits, and then you've got school partnerships, and then of course you have the Bronx Net's partnership with us, and the Dream Big Summer Enrichment Program, which is what we're really here to discuss. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when the pandemic started, we kind of thought to ourselves, how are we going to be able to support our Bronx students? And we came up with Kid Bits after sending out a community questionnaire. And from there, we were able to provide bite-sized programming from Monday through Friday. And after that, we thought, okay, we have our Dream Big program that happens every summer, and it's been happening since 2010. It's our longest running program. And we thought, okay, so if we need to partner with some CBOs, let's do it in a virtual format. And everybody came together and we produced these 9 amazing videos. You know, we weren't tech savvy at all beforehand, but it came together so well. And I'm just so glad we have such an amazing group of people that produce an amazing program for Bronx students.
So, Chris, give us a little taste of what the Kid Bits entails.
Well, the Kids Bits were like a fantastic little daily dose of what we usually deliver to schools, in that we tried to give the kids opportunities to express themselves and their amazing ingenuity and imaginations through little like social media focused activities. So for example, we do videos that talked about certain arts activities, or talked about fun fact cards about like animals that are native to the Bronx, or we talked about writers that are from the Bronx. We just give them things they can really sink their teeth into every day. And we try to extend that into Dream Big, and that we're creating videos and media that the kids can really get involved in, so that they can continue learning during this time in the summer, and with a focus on Bronx-based like artists and flora and fauna and things like that.
It's lovely. It's almost like tricking them into learning, right? I'm a mom, so I know. Well, the beauty is that this is a family-oriented programming, right? And it's locally based. And so I also understand that there's a reading component as well.
Yes. So the Dream Big program is broken up. Each video is able to stand alone and be used individually, but we have 3 read-alouds, 3 biopics, and 3 art-making sessions. So we do have books about Bronx luminaries, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor and Sonia Manzano, who played Maria on Sesame Street for over 40 years.
That's wonderful, right? Something for the kids to look up to, and accessible at the same time, right? Because I do understand that they're all very involved with the Bronx Children's Museum.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
they are. We have a long-standing partnership with them.
And so where are we now, and what kind of fall programming are we looking at, considering that the summer's almost over?
So looking towards the fall, we're going to implement the Dream Big program in school programming as well, but we're already thinking ahead and developing our Art Spot series of programming videos, which involve a really intense focus on Bronx-based artists that still live there today, that still create work relevant to the Bronx, and we're going to create activities for the kids to really delve into and kind of learn more about artists that are all around them, and artists that aren't just like these famous people they hear about on the news, but people that live in their neighborhoods, that grew up in their neighborhoods, that understand their culture. And that's kind of our focus going forward now on the art side. On the STEAM side, Deja.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just know about the punches
Yeah.
and the pain.
So absolutely. Yeah. So for our partner schools, we will be offering Dream Big and Art Spot to the schools and the general public. But STEAM programming, we're going to be providing a series of pre-recorded lessons that also incorporate resource guides for teachers, teacher trainings, and live remote instructions. We miss our kids. We know our kids miss us, and we're super excited to be able to support teachers in the community in any way that we can this time.
So in closing, with these video series that is actually being presented on BronxNet television, what do you hope to leave all of these children with?
That's a good one.
Well, Christopher, you can answer. Who wants to answer first? Deja?
Yeah,
go ahead, Chris.
It's really also what inspired you to be part of this movement, right? Because the Bronx Children's Museum is a movement, and there isn't a museum like this that exists in the Bronx.
Right. I honestly, with the Dream Big program, I hope we can accomplish is to like create an environment where these kids can honestly express themselves and what they want to be. Like, looking back at when I was a kid, I think back to all the times I was trying to be something I didn't want to be. Like, I would grow up to be a doctor or a scientist or something I didn't want to grow up to be. And at the end, I wanted to be an artist. And there's so little opportunities for kids born in the Bronx or kids raised in New York City, like, to really express themselves in a really genuine way. And I think the Dream Big program at its core is an opportunity for kids to really express themselves and be who they want to be, even now in this like trying time.
Yeah, especially now. And Deja?
Yeah, I really want kids of the Bronx to just take from this that they should work hard and always be resilient, that no matter what happens in the world and in their personal lives, that they can be whatever they want to be, and that they can dream big and work hard towards their goals. I mean, growing up in the Bronx, it was a really good experience, but you know, I grew up to be a scientist. I'm an archaeologist, you know, and now I work for a museum, and a museum that, you know, provides access to kids in the community that I grew up in, and I never had access to those things. So
wonderful. Well, thank you both for committing yourselves to pass it forward. That seems to be the theme of today's show. And once again, thank you both for your commitment to passing it forward. And we're never too old or too young to dream big. And you guys, for more on the Dream Big summer program, you can visit BronxChildren'sMuseum.org/DreamBig20. You can also watch the Bronx Children's Museum Dream Big Arts Enrichment Program on Bronx TV, Channel 67 Optimum, 2133 Files, August 17th through the 21st, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4:30 p.m. with a live stream visit at bronxnet.tv. All right, don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
We begin on the baseball diamond where the Bronx Bombers came down to earth a little bit over the past week. A few losses aside, the Yanks are still the best team in the American League East as the 60-game virus-shortened season zips along. Here's pitcher James Paxton on a rough outing Sunday.
We're frustrated about the loss, but it is a great step and in a good direction for me. I pitched a lot better today. Ending wasn't what we wanted. That last inning was unfortunate. But just got to keep on going here.
Manager Aaron Boone is still optimistic about Paxton and the season, of course. Here's more with the skipper.
Yeah, it definitely stings. Got a chance to really salvage the trip, and they put some good at-bats together to get back in the game, obviously. But we obviously take away a lot of good from the way Pax threw the ball, and so got to regroup in the off day and get ready for a homestand.
Meantime, the Amazons have seen some new life thanks to a rookie standout and more dominance from arguably the best pitcher in the National League, maybe all of baseball.
I played a game that I know as a kid and as a professional baseball player, and the game is basically just help the team to win and put the team in the best way for get a win.
Felt a little off today, but was able to battle through and would have liked to win more than 5. But like we said, that second inning threw a lot of pitches in that inning. But was just tried to refocus and go for strike one and go from there. These guys did a good job of putting up some runs for me, and the bullpen held it down. So it's a good team win.
We shift gears and move on over to the NFL gridiron. We caught up with some of your favorite Giants and Jets this past week. We'll start with Big Blue. Here's star running back Saquon Barkley on a fresh start to the season.
I do think we're doing a great job of, especially when we're in Zoom meetings in spring, understanding the history, understanding the guys before us, and the tradition here. But yeah, I would definitely say, like you said, Shep is the longest tenured Giant, and he's only been in the league for 5 to 6 years, I guess. But, it's freshman to start. We're learning every single day, learning a new, especially offense side and defense side, learn a new scheme and system, and, just trying to focus on the little things and trying to get better every single day and capitalize on the things that we're able to do.
Looks like the G-Men will have a healthy tight end to pair with Mr. Barkley this season.
I feel great. I've had a very blessed off season. I've been working my butt off in rehab and getting back. And right now I'm just going out and doing everything I can for the team and with practices and with the trainers and everything. I'm not really worried about what all the other people are saying or this and that. I can only control what's in front of me each and every day, and that's coming in, working hard in training camp, and learning this offense and being a good teammate.
Leonard Williams is excited to be back with the Giants, and he's playing with a chip on his shoulder.
I think the coaches know, that my teammates know what I bring to the table, or I wouldn't be here. I definitely still feel like I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder. At the same time, though, I'm ready to just go out here and play the best that I can. And it starts today. It starts one day at a time. And I'm not looking towards the future or next off season or what's going to happen a year from now. I'm just trying to get better right now and, see what I can do for my team.
A new season, despite the challenges of COVID-19, has Gang Green equally pumped to get back to business. Here's the newest Jet on getting to work with defensive coordinator Greg Williams.
He was intense. Like I said, I got used to a certain style of coaching and out there in Seattle. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Everybody's different. Everybody's wired different. He's just happened to be one of the more intense coaches I've ever communicated with. But I've never heard a bad thing about Greg Williams. I know players that played under him, and they all have positive things to say.
Meanwhile, Alex Lewis can't stop raving about head coach Adam Gase and the chance to get back in some pads and hit some people on an NFL football field.
I love Coach Gase. I got mad respect for him. And, I'm just here, bringing the team together. We got one objective, and that's to play football and win football games. And, all the other stuff is noise. So I'm just excited to be back with the team and push forward and start hitting people.
The NFL resumes, and this past week, racers arrived in Indy to start turning some laps at the Speedway. The Indy 500 looms later this month. Fernando Alonso is back to chase motorsport's coveted Triple Crown. He won Le Mans. He won F1's Monaco. Now he's trying to become only the second man to win those two and the 500.
Reasonable confidence that it's going to be a good event for us, but we take it step by step. We know that there are a lot of things to do from our side. We will miss some experience. All three drivers, we are, let's say, rookies for the 500. So we still need to rely and we need to work very close to the team and learn every day, make it step by step.
Winning the 500 is some prize indeed. Perhaps luck of the draw, though. In sports, few teams probably have better luck than the New York Rangers when it comes to the draft. They scored the number 2 pick last year. This year, the Broadway Blue Shirts win the Alexis Lafreniere sweepstakes. The Rangers win the second phase of the NHL draft lottery and will have the first overall pick, giving them a shot at selecting the young star. The Rangers were among 8 teams that lost in the qualifying round of the playoffs with a chance to claim quite a consolation prize. The Rangers brass is excited, to say the least.
I'm always optimistic. That's my nature, but I couldn't look at the TV. I had my eyes closed, my hand over my head, and I was listening, and my wife was sitting over beside me, and she started screaming. And with that, I was able to look up, and I just couldn't believe it. It was a wonderful thing. I mean, for Gortz to go at it 2 straight years, and we get a 2 and a 1, we're on our way. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but this is certainly helpful. It was just a tremendously exciting evening. And then when we got the pick, my phone sounded like a repeater, just boom, it was blowing up with all kinds of people sending texts and notes. It's a great time to be a Ranger, a great time to be a part of the Rangers, and a great time to be a fan of the Rangers.
Those are the headlines. We hit the C list for the team I'm rooting for inside the NBA bubble. We hope the fans at home enjoyed our new segment this past week, Gimme 5. It seems to be a hit. It was awesome to have old friend Samori B on the show. We talked some NBA. Both he and I suggested that the LA Lakers likely should be the favorites. I'll be rooting for storylines, as always, kind of the nature of the job, you know what I mean? I wish the Knicks were inside the bubble. I wish the Brooklyn Nets were at full strength. Now, the Nets do have a shot, but I think it's fair to say that the LA Lakers, the LA Clippers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Toronto Raptors are more favorable in that conversation. But there's another star inside the bubble that deserves a plug in this C list, and fittingly, he and the C's will get my vote of confidence this morning as the team I am rooting for to win it all. Not easy to say as a lifelong Knicks fan growing up, but let's hear it for Bronx boy Kemba Walker and the Boston Celtics. Celtics fans should be encouraged by what they've seen from Kemba in the NBA restart. The C's all-star guard has been on a minutes restriction due to a nagging left knee injury, yet he's made the most of his time on the court. In the restart opener against Milwaukee, the BX boy turned NBA darling dropped 16 points in 19 minutes. Then, in a win over Portland, Walker scored 14 points in 22 minutes. Walker and the Celtics have done nothing but good things ever since, winning 4 out of 5 games after a loss to Miami. The UConn alum posted 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 28 minutes Tuesday afternoon, this time a win over Memphis. We don't have the Knicks inside the Orlando, Florida bubble. We have a banged-up Nets team, but we do have a whole lot of New York by way of Boston, thanks to Big Apple product Kemba Walker. That's your sports. Don't forget, tune in Monday morning as we sit down with the producer of the #1 sports documentary Right Now. I'm Bobby C. Keep it right here. More Open back after this.
welcome back. Our last guest is a musician, playwright, author, and activist whose performances focuses on social inequalities, Blackness, and womanhood. She's performed throughout the United States and Europe on stages such as the Apollo, BBC, Roundhouse, Amnesty International, and for TEDx, and that's just to name a few. And now she's joining us to discuss her latest projects. Without further ado, please welcome Amyra León.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good today. We on the upswing. The sun always helps.
Well, yes, the sun definitely helps. And we're so delighted to be able to have you on, because the last time we were trying to get you on, you were in your whereabouts in London. And yes, I'm going to assume you were out there performing Vaseline.
Yes, I moved to London to work on a play, Vaseline, and I am now back, which is a really exciting moment and return. It's crazy to return amidst all this chaos, but I'm excited to be home,
Coming back, you came back right before the pandemic. Was it the pandemic that brought you back?
I came back at the height. I was thinking about moving back this year. I definitely wasn't going to make it an urgent matter until I realized that I may not be able to come back at all. In March, I was doing a piece called Una Mujer Derramada, which is a piece that I was composing with a friend, and it was going up at Theatre du Châtelet in Paris. And so I was in Paris preparing for this huge performance at this amazing opera house with 2,000 people and a huge orchestra. And I was there, and every day we were like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And I was there when the French president banned live performances. We went from having 2,000 people that were gonna be, 2,500 people that were gonna be in the audience, to less than 200 who were allowed to enter the building. And then within 3 days, I was like, I gotta go, ran from Paris to London, was there for 2 days, packed up my whole apartment, my whole life, and moved back home. It was crazy. I got here like March 19th. So Europe was shutting down and New York was still like, la-di-da-di-da-da, So it was crazy to like, whoa, and then get home and be like, what's going on? And then not be able to really matriculate back into my community. So it was really intense. But
so it's lovely how you just gave us that whole visual, right? Because I was there with you, and it sounds really extravagant, and all this fabulous life of like performing out in the opera house. Pero I want to also introduce you to our audience before you do your improvised presentation for us, because I need them to know your origins and your background, because it's quite fierce, and you're a true inspiration in everything you do, not only in your voice, in your presence, in your choice of language. I know you're an author as well. So let's just like try and put as much as we can into this segment. Introduce them to what it means to be unstoppable.
Yes, thank you.
I think that's going to be the word.
Yes. Do you want me to introduce myself?
Well, no. The thing is that I know of your background, and I want you to share as much as you're comfortable sharing with regards to your origins to where you are now. I mean, we're over here talking about this fabulous life in Europe and traveling and performing, and you're like our Nina Simone of this era, right? Well, they're gonna get a taste of it later. However, your story is quite inspirational. So I want to share a little bit of that, but I want it to be what you're comfortable with.
Okay. Well, my name is Amyra León. I'm from Harlem. I was raised in the foster care system in New York City and adopted by an iconic Puerto Rican woman named Elba Rosa León. And so, being adopted and not really knowing like my ethnicity, not knowing where I came from, only knowing the families in which I was living with, I started to write at a very young age and started to ask myself questions and build answers and tried to really create a space in which I was safe, because the world that I was being raised in and the environments and the homes that I was being raised in were very dangerous. Luckily, Harlem is also just this vibrant place where no matter who you are, how you are, what you are, in El Barrio where I was raised, come as you are accepted, you are loved, you are of worth, you know? And I think that Harlem has a lot to do with the confidence that I've been able to summon and to give into my work. You know, and I think that there's a level of audacity that exists in El Barrio because, you know, the resilience is something that we never got quite, wasn't really a choice. It was something that everybody was doing. We're thriving and surviving together. And if we allow ourselves to be present, there's always something to celebrate. You know, so a lot of people were being killed. A lot of people were going through this. I was going through court, a lot of stuff for a kid, you know, but there's always celebration. The music's always blasting from the window. The music's always inviting you to be safe with yourself and with your people, you know? And so when I found music, it became this huge offering that I didn't even know how to calculate. I didn't understand. I've only been singing for 5 years. Like I started singing in 2015. And once I started singing, it just didn't stop, you know? But yeah, in terms of everything, I really consider myself a person who works with words, a wordsmith of sorts. And I don't really choose a medium. The medium chooses me, you know? So I write books. Why? Because the words called me to the page. And then I write songs. Why? Because these words can't be read. They must be sung. And, you know, I'm working on films and a bunch of different things. And it really is about letting the words guide me into the medium in which they must be presented. So a lot of my work is everything is based in improvisation, everything. Any recorded song you hear of me is the first time it's been recorded, ever. Like the words, that was the first time the words escaped my mouth. That was the first time the melody escaped my mouth. And then I'll go back and listen to those improvs and then add layers and give harmonies and get a guitarist on the track, you know? So yeah, it's been a really ever evolving thing, but because I don't have a manager, I don't have a team, it's just me making all of my decisions. I get to keep all my money too. But you know, I get to really do whatever I want because the industry I don't work around the industry. I kind of have created a relationship where the industry kind of works around me. My work might be on Spotify, but I don't care about that. I'm gonna make a tour because I know the people. And I'm always about putting the people at the center, not the press, not the marketing, not anything. It's the people. And if I get to know enough people, then we'll be creating something that lasts. And I'm only here to create things that last, you know?
Ooh, girl, I felt everything you just said. And on top of that, I'm excited. As you can see, I'm all like hyped.
Yes.
I know that you're going to do an improvisation for us. And
yes.
on the word that I choose, right? And the word already presented itself because it did organically. And that word
I'm so excited.
It's unstoppable. Oh my gosh, we're going to do that. Unstoppable. You ready for that? Oh, did she freeze? Yeah. It's all good because we're going to take a quick break. And then when we return, Amyra León, she's going to perform an improv with the word unstoppable. So don't
yes.
It's now time for this week's Open Artist Spotlight. Here now to perform a special improvised song based on the word that I chose, unstoppable. Please welcome Amyra León.
What do you say when the sun is gone away and the storm is raging on? Do we hide from ourselves or beg for our reflection to decipher our desire? We could be unstoppable. That is who we are. Unstoppable. We ought to change our desire. Unstoppable is what we are. I have no one else to be with my desire. What do you say when the sun is gone away and all you got are your teeth and your tongue is tied, but everyone is looking for something to believe in? And what do you do when the morning dew is not enough for you and your anxiety is calling you?
Unstoppable! Brava, Amyra León! Woo! Yes. So just share with us your upcoming projects before we go.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I just released my first children's book, which is called Freedom We Sing, and it's available in most bookstores and online, but y'all should get it from the Lit Bar in the Bronx, which you can also order online, important. And my debut full-length album, Witness, will be coming out in a few weeks. So keep your eyes ready and your ears prepared.
And of course, all you got to do is follow Amyra online and visit her at AmyraLeón.com. And you can also follow her on Instagram at Amyra León. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recap cast tonight, 24 hours a day, at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and for all of us here at Open, may the universe provide us prosperity, y amor, and as a friendly reminder, don't forget to wear your mask.